So welcome to the Holburne Museum here in Bath, one of my favourite small museums in all of England, housed in this splendidly theatrical building at one of the focal points of the city. This was once the Sydney Hotel, and behind it you can still see and walk through the ghost of the Sydney Pleasure Gardens, a place where it is said that Jane Austen herself once took tea. Now I'm here to meet Chris Stevens, who's the director of the museum. He's going to tell me a little bit about its history, and we're going to look at some of its most wonderful things. Now, the Holburne Museum was originally founded by Sir William Holburne, who built up a collection in the 19th century, a collection of small cabinet pictures, miniatures, including some very fine things. And he gave it to the city of Bath. It then became known as this nucleus, to which other benefactors then contributed paintings that reflected different aspects of Bath itself, in particular a series of Georgian pictures by the likes of Gainsborough. So in some respects, it's more than one museum, and I'm going to start by meeting Chris in the 18th century section. Well, I must say this is one of my favourite museums in England, but in a funny way, I don't think of it as being just one museum.
How so?
Well, in the sense that you've got the core collection formed by the man after whom it's named, which is very 17th century, a little bit Chinese, very much about miniatures and rather splendid things. And then you've got this collection of paintings that absolutely exude Bath.
Yes.
but as far as I understand it, these had nothing to do, these paintings, with Mr. Holburne. He didn't collect these.
No, that's right. I mean, the founding collection was William Holburne's. His last sister bequeathed them to the city. And it was basically a collection built from when he went on the grand tour to Europe in the early 19th century, and then he followed those tastes. So there's small cabinet paintings from Italy and the Netherlands, a lot of ceramics in China, and decorative objects, cameos that he bought in Naples and turned out to be 18th century fakes. And
we're going to be looking at those a little bit later on. I'm going to go downstairs after I've finished with Chris.
And then apart from some family portraits, there weren't really any English paintings in his collection, but these have been given to the museum since. I mean, it's nearly 150 years old. Because of Bath's connections, and you know, in the late 18th century, Bath was the second artistic centre after London. So most famously, Gainsborough was here painting a number of these paintings, and of course, famously the Blue Boy as well.
So you've, in a sense, once the museum became Bath's museum, or one of the museums of Bath anyway, it then attracted to itself by bequest more than by acquisition. These, like for example, this extraordinary picture by Gainsborough. I don't know if you've seen this. This is Gainsborough's other great marriage portrait, in the sense that, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Andrews, of course, but that's early Gainsborough. That's Gainsborough in Suffolk. This is Grand Manner Gainsborough. Gainsborough after he's met Reynolds. Gainsborough pulling out all the stops, painting this sort of England as this amazing piece of theatre. And yet still with that very humane, you know, he's still got time for the little girl as well as the man who's showing his landscape.
Exactly. Yes, I mean, there's so much in this painting. It is Gainsborough's largest painting, painted in Bath as a marriage portrait originally. George Byam was a plantation owner, so behind the English landscape there's a whole other story and place. Yeah. And his marriage to a member of the Bathurst family from Cirencester. And then the child was added in a few years later, which is why, in a way, she sits slightly oddly against the wife's dress. I think I'm right in saying that the wife's dress also changed colour at the same time.
It's almost as if the wife's dress has had to be opened up. And then you've got a Stubbs at the other end. Oh, no, we must go and have a quick look at the Thomas Lawrence, because I think, you know, it's a, in quotes, unfinished picture.
It's the most beautiful painting.
Isn't it wonderful? I think you put it on the catalogue of a show that I was sort of very tangentially involved with, in the sense that I chaired a discussion between some of your experts. And this picture was just everyone's favourite.
This is a painting we bought, actually, raised money to buy 6 years ago. It's a study for a full-length portrait that's in LA County Museum. Yeah. It's an Eton leaving portrait, And the extraordinary thing about Thomas Lawrence is that he was such a prodigy that he did a number of similar paintings of young men when he was about the same age. So this is an adolescent looking at another adolescent of a different class. Lawrence was the son of a publican from Devizes. And they came to Bath, and by the age of 12, Lawrence was the main breadwinner in the family, doing portraits of the visitors to Bath, including Georgiana.
That's right, of course, that was his story. Age 12 that he's doing that.